just to give you guys an introduction about where I came from, now I'm a lead designer at a major bridal company, but when I first started out in this industry, I actually didn't know much about engagement rings. So I thought an engagement ring was something you walked into a store and walked out with the same day. And I also thought that it was just like a plain gold band with a diamond on top. I didn't think it was anything there was anything special about it. There's nothing that you could design about it. It was just, here's your band, here's your diamond, ready to go. But it turns out that's not the case. There's a lot of different options out there, so you can pick out something that really is meaningful to you, that speaks to your style and that speaks to your lifestyle. Here are just some common types of engagement rings. I'm going to try to keep it less lecture and more ring advice. And with all these options, how are you going to pick something that you know that she's going to like? Do you go with something that's trendy? Do you go with something really super simple? Do you go super duper unique because you know she likes that? And when you walk into a store and you see hundreds of these styles out there, how do you choose? So one of the first things we're going to talk about is solitaires. A solitaire is just a simple gold band, but there are so many details that you can add to your solitaire that make it a little extra special. You could add a little diamond in the halo. You could add like beading on the side. So what you see here, that's actually done by hand by a jeweler, and it's something that makes a ring look more vintage. So if her style is something that's a little bit more vintage, maybe even with the solitaire you can express it. Thank you. Listen, short people problems. So you can express your personal style with these little extra details that make it something that's more unique for you and for your future spouse. The reason I'm telling you all of these super specific things that you might not think you need to know is because you're going in there and you're spending a ton of money, probably the most money you've ever spent in your life, especially on a piece of jewelry. And you want to make sure, no pressure, you want to make sure that this piece is, 100% what's going to match your lifestyle, not just your style. Something might be trendy today, like for instance, dainty settings are really, really trendy today. If you're riding horses every weekend, and if you're weightlifting, and if you are, digging around in the garden all the time or playing with children, maybe a dainty setting is not for you. You might love it, but you're not going to love having to come in and repair it all the time. So to that end, let's talk about what we call classics. Basically, a classic is anything that has diamonds on the band, and as you can see, there are a ton of different options. You can go for something really simple and modern. So if your partner wants to do something that's going to be trendy forever, and by trendy forever, I really just mean it's going to be in style forever, that's a really great option for you. If they're a little bit on the funkier side, you could do some of these extra details. If you can see like how the center is set, those little extra prongs on the side. Maybe there's a little bit of a scalloping detail. It's a very simple classic band. It's always going to be in style, but that doesn't mean that you can't put your own little spin on it. And just some more examples for you of different setting types. You still have diamonds on the band, lots of bling, but the way that you set the stone is going to change the appearance of the whole piece. Every single one of these is really unique, and you can combine all these different aspects of different rings and make something that's really uniquely yours. One of the best pieces of advice I can give you when you're doing this, because it's so overwhelming, there's so many options out there, is that you should take your time and you shouldn't panic. I know it's a lot of pressure. It's the most important ring you're probably ever going to design in your life. And your partner's going to have it for the rest of her life and probably pass it down to the next generation. I mean, these things become family heirlooms. They're really, truly special. They carry your story. It's the beginning of your legacy together. So yeah, that's, it's a lot of pressure. But at the same time, you're already done with the hard part. You found your partner. Guys, believe me, that part is so much harder than picking out the engagement ring. The engagement ring, you're going to know it's the one when you see it. And when you're considering all these things, like if you look at some of the things that I showed you today, this little crash course, when you're thinking about, does she work with her hands? Does she have a really active lifestyle? Is she super careful with her jewelry? Does she take her necklace off at night? Does she shower with all her jewelry on? When's the last time you saw her take that necklace off? If the answer is never, probably you shouldn't go for like a 1.5 millimeter tiny dainty little baby band with a giant 4-carat stone on top. Just advice, free advice. Or at least if you're gonna do that, get really excellent insurance. But yeah, I mean, you just have to consider your lifestyle and think about your life together and what's gonna fit into your life. It's something that you're both gonna look at every day, so both of you have to love it. But best thing you can do is give yourself plenty of time, come in shopping early, see what's out there. I promise you, there's so many options out there, you're gonna find the right one.